Hi, this is Linda with the Life Station Express, the relay station. We bring the news to you. Today, I'm just making my annual checkup video about my health journey. And today was the day, it's usually in October, that I go to my general practitioner and have blood work done. He goes over that with me and have my carotid artery Doppler tests done. Now, the other day, I posted on Facebook a picture that talked about my carotid artery test, but today I just wanted to make a quick video and share that for whoever cares, whoever's wondering about how things are going with my health. I'm doing this because 6 years ago I did have a small stroke, and it affected my speech, it affected my eye, my face, my arm, and it was very scary. And I started doing research back then to figure out what I could do to see about clearing my carotid arteries. The right one was 100% occluded, and the left one was I don't know, around 50% or something. I'm not sure what that one was, but anyway, since then I've been doing research, and if you followed me at all, every year I go and have that Doppler test done again. So I used to have a general practitioner and a cardiologist because my blood pressure also has been high for 40 years. Also, a neurologist because of the artery issue. So what I found out that persons with my body type, slender, I'll use that word. I used to be called skinny. I'll say slender. Anyway, I have a lighter frame, smaller frame. I'm around 5'5", and it is part of my, I guess you'd say, generational heritage that collecting plaque in the carotid arteries has happened to my mom and my grandmother. They both had strokes, much more severe. My grandmother's was very severe. She never got out of a wheelchair, and my mom's was to the point where she was off balance enough after it that she couldn't drive anymore, and it was difficult for her to speak as well. The connection between her mouth and her brain, she had difficulty getting what was in her brain to come out her mouth a lot of times, certain words and certain thoughts. And it frustrated her a lot. But anyway, she did well. She lived in her home by herself until she passed away a few years ago. And she's the one that took care of my grandmother after she had her stroke, and was left in a wheelchair after that. Her one whole side was paralyzed. So anyway, I do have still a little bit of residual speech issues. I think the side of my mouth and back into my throat is a little paralyzed yet. It doesn't work properly, but I would say most everything else is pretty much back to normal, and it was back to normal within like 6 months. Although it took the doctors a while to figure out what had happened to me, because I had these different symptoms. They thought it was Bell's palsy at first. They thought I had something wrong with my ulnar nerve because my hand was not working. Anyway, that's all passed. That was 6 years ago. And since then, I did a lot of research, and I wanted to figure out what was going on, and I wanted to figure out how to fix it or how to make it not happen again, or, do something about it. Basically, become proactive with my own health. So I started reading about keto, discovered a way to eat a proper human diet instead of the standard American diet that we have, the SAD diet. And I've been making these updates ever since then. Every year when I have the Doppler test, which is an ultrasound, I guess you would call it, test on the carotids, and they come up this way and they go up to your brain. So this one was occluded 100% or clogged, and it affected this side of my body. And if it would have been this one, it would have affected this side of my body. That's just how that works. So anyway, I wanted to give a quick update on my doctor's appointment today. Now, I do not have a neurologist anymore. He, after he saw the results of when I started keto and started working on some things, he released me not too long after that. He said enough of the plaque had left my artery, this one, that I did not need to see him anymore. If you have plaque in your arteries and it gets down to less than 50% occluded, they really don't have any procedures. They don't do surgery or anything for that. And that's where I was. So that's where I got to. He was amazed. He said, I don't know what you're doing, but keep doing it. So I kept doing it. And, also I found nattokinase, which is an enzyme, which is a natural blood thinner and clot dissolver. And it is made from fermented soy. That's a whole nother subject. You can look up nattokinase on your own if you'd like to. Most people just call it natto now. Natto is actually a fermented food that they have been eating in the Asian countries for years. Anyway, I take natto morning and evening, and I know because of the tests I've been having that has had a great advantage effect on my carotid artery. So anyway, here's today's report. I came from my doctor, Dr. Dixon in McSherrystown, Pennsylvania, and he's part of the UPMC, whatever, network, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, that means nothing to me. Around here, we have UPMC or WellSpan. Richard goes to the doctors at WellSpan, and my doctor, I only have one, is UPMC, for whatever that's worth. Okay, today, October, I forget what today's date is. Anyway, October, middle of October. My blood pressure, now that's another issue. I've had high blood pressure ever since I had toxemia when I had my son. He is now 46. So ever since then, I've battled blood pressure issues as well, which is also a vascular issue. So one thing I did discover as well, and I most likely am a, they call it TOFI, TOFI, thin on the outside, fat on the inside. I hold my fat when there's collection of fat or plaque, we'll call it plaque, in my carotid arteries. My heart is fine. My heart is pretty clear. They don't have any issues. I don't have any issues with my heart. I did have heart palpitations at one point, tachycardia at one point. Also, through research, I found out that if you regulate your sodium intake, which I was told for many decades not to eat salt, too much salt, now I eat the salt that I want. When my body wants salt, I'll eat salt on my food. I take electrolytes, which have sodium, potassium, and magnesium. I take them as well. So my salt intake has been regulated. Therefore, no more heart palpitations, never any more tachycardia at all, which is a scary thing as well. So anyway, I'm kind of doing this quickly just to catch up. Those are the things that I've been through in the last 6 years since the stroke, and since way back when, over 40 years ago, when I had toxemia, which I think now they call it preeclampsia. And I had to be induced and have the baby quick, and the blood pressure was shot way up sky high. They were afraid I would have a stroke, so they put me on all kinds of drugs. So many drugs that they told me not to breastfeed him, which I've always wished I could have done that. But anyway, that was then. This is now. So regrets, yes. But anyway, what I've learned is a lot. I've learned a lot. And so I'm just going to go over, unless I think of something else to say real quick, what the doctor's report said today. Now, because of the blood pressure issue, I do take one medication, carvedilol, and yes, it's a beta blocker, and yes, there's some news coming out about them. So I'm going to keep my eye out about the beta blockers and what they're figuring out after people have been on them for decades, which I have been. But my initial, for this beta blocker, the initial prescription was for twice the amount of what I'm taking now. Well, what I'm prescribed now, I'm taking half of that. And I've also, on my own, cut that in half. So I've been taking, instead of taking 2 tablets twice a day, one tablet 2 times a day, I now take half a tablet in the morning, and that's it. But then this morning, because I wanted to know and check, I took a whole tablet this morning before I went to the doctors, and my blood pressure, and it proves that they are working. My blood pressure was 120/68. Never is my blood pressure that low. It's been down to 120 before with medication, but the 68, That's unheard of for me. It's never under 80. So that was good. And I told Dr. Dixon that's what I did today, and this is what I normally take. And he was cool with that, and he's gonna, if I want another prescription, I can just call and he'll send it in. I do still have enough here for a while. So anyway, that was a good thing. 120 over 68. My BMI is 20.21. I'll have to look that up. I think that's okay. My weight was 117, and I think I gained 2 pounds since last year. And again, I have a small frame, so 2 pounds is 2 pounds. To me, it's 2 pounds. Okay, there's 2 pounds more than you had last year, but I'm going to be turning another number in age in about a month. I'm going to enter a new decade. So I think for my decade, it's okay to gain 2 pounds. Okay. Although it's probably just from fruit this summer. I had a few apples. I had a couple things that normally I don't eat fruit because we do the keto protocol. Anyway, so I did put on a couple pounds, and I did have some French fries the other day, which is a no-no for us, but we both had French fries the other day. And I did have something I have not had for so long, country fried steak. I had a country fried steak, and it was so delicious, and it had gravy, which is a no-no as well. But you know what? I had it the other day, and I don't have it every day, and I probably won't have it for another year, but I enjoyed it, and it was a lot. We were at the, we were in Westminster, Maryland, at the Plum Crazy Diner. So if you want a good country fried steak with gravy, I would recommend that. Anyway, that's beside the point, right? My temperature was normal, and my oxygen was 100%, and my pulse was 91. Now, I'm kind of like a little rabbit. If I move around a lot, or I'm working, or I'm walking fast, or climbing a ladder or something like that, my pulse gets up pretty high. But it was 91, so that's okay. So everything in my visit today was fine. The doctor has no problem. He, of course, always asked me, now, I guess you're not going to want any of the tests, right? And he said, mammogram. I said, no. Colonoscopy. I said, no, thank you. And we just laughed about that because he knows what I'm going to say. And then it was funny because we said goodbye, see you next year. As he was walking out the door, he stopped and he turned around and he opened the door again. And he goes, and you don't want any shots, do you? I said, no, you know that. I don't want any shots either. And he just laughed and said, see you next year. So that is a quick update. Oh, that was 12 minutes, almost 13. Okay, that was a quick update on my health journey, my health adventure. I think I'll just continue doing what I'm doing, staying on the keto protocol, which is good for me and for Richard. We're trying to get his A1C down because he is diabetic and he's on medication, and he's 65. So, it's something to be aware of, and you don't want to be playing with this stuff, right? So we eat a lot of beef. We're meat heavy in our meals, a few green vegetables, some salad once in a while. I will make a sweet potato for us once in a while just for a change. We don't have white potatoes, definitely, except for the fries we had the other day, which was rare. And that's pretty much, what we eat. I make a lot of I make the Keto Chow pudding from the Keto Chow brand shake mix, which is, of course, keto friendly. And we eat a lot of that. I do make whipped cream for on those. Cream is fine. Milk is not. You want to check your, the carbs in your milk if you're drinking milk. The ultra filtered milk is a little better, but if you want to, probably want to stay away from regular milk. We're not milk drinkers, but I will use cream. There's less than 1 gram of carbs in a tablespoon of cream, whipping cream, and you want to get the pure one without the carrageenan. So anyway, I could talk forever about this. Do you see my basil plant? I got that earlier this summer, and it really, really took off. And we're going to be moving back to the apartment tomorrow and the rest of the weekend, and then the rest of next week we'll be closing up the camper and moving everything back to the apartment. So we will be living there again for the next 6 months until we come back up here and open up our wonderful campsite again at the campground. And it's kind of bittersweet, you know. We've had just a great time here. And this past week, I will say, Richard and I both have had several friends that we've gotten to have some really good conversations with. And I've actually had a couple people say, "Hey, Linda, tell me about what you're learning." And one is about health, and the other one was about the things I'm learning about in my faith and my studies in the Bible. So I've been really happy about that. One thing that did give us pause is we had a very good friend pass away this week. See, I can't even talk yet. I can't even talk about it. And we will miss her tremendously. We went to her sending off service yesterday, and it went very well. Lots of friends and family that participated in that send off for her children and her grandchildren and her family just were exemplary in their presentation of her life, and pictures were wonderful. And we just you know, you go through these things, and we're getting to that age where some of our friends will be crossing over to the other side. So we've had a little bit of a challenge as far as emotional stuff, and I thought maybe my blood pressure would be up because of that, but I think I took enough of the medication that it didn't. Anyway, we treasure our family and our friends. We have Bible study groups, we have church groups, and we have our campground family. And I cannot tell you how much those folks mean to us, and we love them all. We love you all. I love all the people that watch these videos, and I pray for you. I want the best for you, and I do this because if I can learn something about either my faith or my health, I'm going to pass it on and share it with you. All right, this is Linda with the Life Station Express, the relay station, and that's the news we have for you today. Have an awesome rest of the day. Thank you. Bye.